morning to all. Thank you for inviting for this session. As a resource person, at this point of time, I would like to thank management of Guru Nanak Institutions Technical Campus and Department of Mechanical Engineering. Head of the department, Professor Rajkumar, and coordinator, Dr. Anjaya. So he is my best friend as well as classmate in my BTech program. So then thank you for all other committee members, the conveners and the committee members of the program. So this is a very good program for engineers as well as the practitioners in the industries and academy community. So where they may be dealing with so many optimization decision-making problems with the help of the methods, the techniques or tools. So now I would like to take the session on single variable optimization methods, which are very essential in the case of multi-variable optimization problems without constraints as well as with constraints. The main application of this single variable optimization problems are methods which are used for the problems of a single variable, where they may be finding the optimality of a step of accelerating the search direction in order to get optimal or near optimal solution of the problems. So they may be using techniques and tools. So in case where they fall in a particular single variable optimization issue or problem, then they can make use of this single variable optimization methods, which is going to be happen this session. So again, good morning to all the participants and managing committee of this program. As I told, so I'm going to discuss and we'll be getting any discussion related to this topic. So could you say anything about this diagram? This is the portion of Maslango's the creation of Adam, where it is a closed curve. You can start from anywhere and we may reach to the starting point. So what are the importance of this curve? So it is a string resembles hands. So we used to call Maslango curve. This is a very simple closed curve, and it was found by solving nearly 2000 city instance of TSP, traveling salesman problem. So we all know that the conditions of traveling salesman problem start from any point, any city, and covering all the cities only once and reaching the starting city. So that is the typical traveling salesman problem. So this same curve is resembling the traveling salesman problem. So this is about the mathematician who has explained and described this curve. So we can call it as Jordan curve theorem. When a simple closed curve is drawn in a plane, it cuts the plane into two pieces. So that is area or part which is lying inside the curve and the part which is lying outside the curve. So it is a complete closed curve. So this is called a closed curve, or we can call it as Jordan curve. So with this help, so we can able to find out the shortest distance tour, where the traveling salesman visiting city or node and covering all the cities and reaching to the starting node or starting point. We can trace from any node and reaching the starting node. So that's called a closed curve. So it is not having any interaction with the other curves, part of the curves. So this is a typical application of optimization in traveling salesman problem. Even we can see these examples, a closed curves that was found by solving 25,000 city instance of the TSP. We can see it is split into two parts, part which is inside the curve and the part which is outside the curve. So inside of the curve is drawn in a tomato soup, so it is with red color. So we can see the curve is a closed curve. I'm going to talk on these topics as introduction of the optimization, then introduction of single variable optimization methods. So under this, we are category into two categories. One is direct methods, where it is not involved any kind of derivative of the function of the variables, and indirect methods where it is depending on the gradient. So we can call it as gradient based methods. So the derivative of the function is required in this case. So we all know that so optimization is a word derived from Optimus, so nothing but the best. So once if you have alternative solutions, and we can compare the solutions based on some criteria, so we can say that it is the best solution of the decision problem. It is we all know that the fundamental roots for present day optimizations, or we can call it as modern day optimization, starts from the Second World War. So we can see the application of this ways and means for radar deployment, or aircraft, anti-aircraft fire control, submarine detections, so in the military segment. So this is the route for the subject, so optimization in the industries as well as in academic institutes. Of course, we all know about the optimization is dealing with computational work, so where we need to have a high computational machines, devices like computers. So where we may not be there at this level, the applications of optimizations. We can see the earlier mathematical models, calculus or Lagrangian multipliers, so which are relied on sophistication of the techniques to solve the problems which they are suited for applications. So the present day mathematical optimizations like linear programming, so far less on mathematical sophistication than do on a unusual. So adaptability to the mode of solution, so inherent in the modern digital computing. So the application computational, so we are very good because of the computers or digital computers, modern digitalization. But only thing is we need to make the modeling of the real world problems where we can able to apply the suitable methods for solving these models. Optimization process or procedure is the formulation of the real scenario. So as a model, it's a mathematical model or a simulation model. So then with help of the procedures, methods, so we can able to get the optimization of the problems. So just let me quickly introduce about these are some of the typical problems where the importance of the optimizations taking place. So we all know that the analysis of cantilever beam, so where it can withstand a particular load, so at that particular position. So I need to design the component. So based on this load. So because of this load, so there may be a deflections in the beam. So the constraints is, so I need to get the deflection within a certain value. So the permissible value of the design. So this is one of the typicals where we can go for optimization of this cantilever beam subject to some conditions. Then we can think about the application of the CAM, so follower. So this design also, so we may be able to design the parameters optimization. So where we consider functionality properties of this device, where it is operating conditions. So we can consider some of the conditions like restrictive design conditions, where nature of the CAM is the condition. So we need to pick it this particular conditions. Then coming to this classifications of optimization problems, we can see a lot of classifications based on the kind of the constraints and existing of the constraints. We can say constrained optimization problems or unconstrained optimization problems. Then based on the design variables, the decision variable is in the problem. So where it is having some conditions, the nature of the variables. If it is a parametric wise, then we can call it as a parametric optimization. So or we can say that static optimization problems. Then based on the trajectory or dynamic, so optimization problems. Then the physical structure of the problem, so the control, so optimal control of the structure, so or we can say non-optimal control structures. Then kind of the equations involved in the formulation, so linear, non-linear, geometrical, quadratic programming problems. Then permission values of the design variables, where we can say the values of the variables maybe are real or it may be integers or binary. So based on the nature of this design behavior, design variable behavior, so we can say this kind of the permission values of the decision variables. The nature of the variables involved, the deterministic, so the variables and the stochastic nature, so stationary, non-stationary. Then separability of the functions, we can say the function, the very complex function may be divided into parts, so separable and non-separable programming. And kind of the objective function nature, a number of the objective functions like a single variable, a single objective programming problems, multi-objective programming problems. So present, if you take any kind of the problems where it may be a combination of any one of these classifications or maybe a particular classification of this optimization problems. So we are going to use some of the terminologies for the formulation of the mathematical model. So the design vector, or we can call it as the design variables. the values, quantities to be chosen in a design, so design parameters. So pre-assigned parameters, we can say that constant values are fixed quantities, and decision variables, which is going to decide about the uh, acceptable of the problem nature, so the variable quantities. Choose what is happens usually. So in the case of real situation of the decision problems, we may be choosing some design variables, and when we are going for validation of this, so if it is not feasible level, so we can able to change, or we can include or delete some of the variables, and revise the formulation and proceed further. So repeat the process, same thing. So then coming to the constraints, so the conditions, there are design restrictions for feasible or acceptable designs. So in the engineering domain, so where we can see functional or behavioral constraints, which is having some limitations on the behavior or performance of the system according to the desired accuracy. Then there is a, geometrical constraints, or we can say the physical limitations of the any design of the product. So where we can say the weight or size of the product. So it is a set of values, values of decision variable satisfying the equations, like equality kind of the equations, where it is saying that surface in the space, so constant surface. So we can consider any of these constraints or particular type of the constraints. Accordingly, we can apply the optimization methods. So under these constraints situations, we can have inequality type of the constraints and equality type of the constraints. Where we have all the constraints are equality type, so we can go for classical optimization, which was introduced by the previous speaker of this program. So even if it is a combinations of equality and inequality, so we can able to go for Quantaker conditions, KT conditions for the solving of these problems. This is the examples where we can see the general design variables as well as the constraints involved in the problem formulations. And in order to say the best solution or a feasible solution, so we need to have a criterion, so maybe represented as an objective function. So where it is going to be optimal design vector. So this function is terms of combinations of the design variables as well as other parameters in the problems. So the selection of the object function can be one of the most important decisions in the whole design process, optimum design process. So objective function selection is becomes one of the optimization problem in the research field. Then where present day, so we can think about the multiple objective functions or multi-objective programming problems. So where we may be considering more than one objective of the design. So if we say the low cost and the high quality, as well as quick delivery of the products, so in the business environment, so where we can consider the multi-objective programming problems. So these multi-objectives are very complex, and computationally it is expensive, so it requires a lot of resources, manpower. So how to resolve this? We can identify the very important objective, so the main objective, by including other objectives as a constraints with some restricted values. So the other objective functions will become as a constraints in the optimization problem. The choice of objective function is governed by the nature of the problem. The kind of the problem statement, so we can consider the kind of the. So then coming to the variables, when I'm saying variables, it may be having some boundaries, or we can say conditions of the variables, minimum or maximum bounds, lower and upper limits of the design variable. Finding of this variable bound is also very difficult. So one way how to get this boundary of the variables, we can consider guessing about some optimality or optimum solution, and try to set bounds so that the optimum solution lies within these lower and upper bounds. Let me say the formulation of any optimization problem in general, as a mathematical formulations, we may be minimizing the objective function. So generally we are considering the minimization of the objective function optimization problems. So even if the problems are there as a optimization maximization, so we can able to minimize with the duality principle or a transformation principle. So that generally all the optimizers, the researchers in the field of optimizations, they may be going for minimization optimization procedures or methods. So minimize f of x, which is considered as objective function and subject to some constraints. So constraints is also combinations of the variables, but having some values, the permissible values or desired values. So this may be considered as inequality constraints, and we can say the equality constraints as hk of x, where k is number of constraints, equality constraints. So then we can think about the boundary of conditions of the variables, design variables, like upper and lower boundary conditions, every variable, design variables. These are the side constraints, the boundary conditions. This is the design vector. So usually in any optimization problems, we may be considering more than one variables. So once if you have the formulation of any decision problems where it is involved constraints, we can call it as optimization. There is no constraints, so we can say the unconstrained optimization problems. Just once the formulation is over, so then the next step is the solution of the formulation of the optimization problem. So you can say this is the typical two-dimensional problems where it is constrained, consider the side constraints as well as structural constraints. With help of this, I can able to get the feasible region, so where we can able to get the best or optimal solutions of the variables. So we can say that these are the regions, we can say infeasible regions, which is not in the feasible area. So that means the values of these variables x1 and x2 are within the constraints, within the satisfaction of the constraints. So that's called the feasible region. So if any value of the variable so is not satisfying the constraints within the conditions of the constraints, then it is called infeasible. So here we can accept this point, but it is unacceptable with respect to the constraints. So we can say that it is a free unacceptable point, but it is not accepted as per the constraints. So once we are getting the feasible region, so now I want to find out the best out of alternative solutions of the variables. So we may be using the objective function and trying to plot the objective function in this region, and based on the optimization of the objective function, so whether it is a minimization or maximization. So here we are considering in general minimization of the objective functions. So we need to make the contours of objective function at a particular value. So when the objective function is having a C1 and C2 and C3, so where C2 is less than C1, so C3 is less than C2, like that. So let us consider some of the unconstrained optimizations, and if you are imposing the constraints, then it has become a constrained optimization. So if you consider this diagram, so where we can have unconstrained optimization problem. So in this case, I can consider the optimal point. So that is here it is a maximum. So the shape of this curve is in a concave. So we can consider the optimal point. So once if you are imposing the constraints, then it becomes a constrained optimization problem. So the point which is or set of points which are satisfying the constraints together, all the constraints in the given problem statement, then it is a optimal solution of the constrained optimization problem. So if you are thinking about this kind of the constraints optimality as well as infeasibility, so we can get any nature or any kind of the regions, so that we can able to go for optimal solution of the problems, decision problems. So consider the feasibility of the objective optimization problems, so where we can have the shape of the optimality, so is in the form of the curve. So there may be so many ups and downs in the curves, or we can consider this is the general case of the feasible region, so where I can able to get the optimality within the local, so that is within this permissible range. I can say it is a optimally local at this particular region, so local region. So by considering all others regions, I can say the global optimum. Okay. So this is the examples where we can consider any general mathematical formulation of optimization problems, minimization of the design variables and object function, subject to some constraints, so the kind of the constraints. Consider this inequality kind of the constraints, so where we can say possibilities of this. So this is a strictly less than type constraints, so where you can say gx is less than 0, so where we can say the optimal point somewhere here. So we can consider this is the interior solution of this feasible of the optimization problem. So where we can consider this is the boundary solutions. So the solution point is on the boundary. So based on this boundary, I can say it is a boundary solution of the optimization problem. So what are the possibility of case 1? So the interior solutions. So the conditions which is necessary to satisfy x is equal to x star. So this is the derivative of the function and equating to 0. So from this I can get the value of x, so that is going to be condition. So we can say it is the interior solution of the problem. So if you can consider in the possibility case 2, so you just to deviate from this x optimal point, so optimal x, so with a small deviation. So let us denote by delta x, and whenever the delta x is equal to 0, so the solution is going to be interior solutions. Okay. So if it is I want to get the boundary solution, so then it is minimization of the x j of x star plus delta x. So where I'm going to optimize the delta x values. So almost all is reaching to 0, subject to g of x star plus delta x is less than or equal to 0. So this is the boundary solution of the typical example problem. So then coming to the methods available for solving optimization formulation of decision problems. So usually we are considering the minimization of the effort required, for example, the cost of the production. So, or we can say maximization the desired benefits. So because of these productions, we may be getting the efficiency of. In that case, we need to go for maximization problem. So if you see the graphical representation of this minimization optimization problem, so there it is a replication of that. So in the other direction, so we can get the maximization of the objective functions. So like this. Just by using the duality principle or a transformation process, take the negative of the objective function so of minimization problems, then it becomes a maximization of the problem. So optimization plays a very important role in design of various engineering problems. Of course, in the design engineering or manufacturing engineering or product process engineers, as well as systems like manufacturing system development. So we have the three different categories of methods of optimizations. So this is based on the kind of the formulation or the model of the problems, mathematical programming techniques and stochastic process techniques and statistical methods. So it is based on the nature of the problem statement and the modeling of the problem. So we can consider these categories of the methods of optimization problems. There are many different optimization methods or algorithms. So, but as in the research, there is no single method available for solving all optimization problems efficiently. We will be using some of the methods in other kind of the problems with the consideration of some penalties or some feasibilities, so with accepting the infeasible regions. So these are some of the methods comes under the mathematical programming, so and linear programming. All this comes under the mathematical programming. Coming to this stochastic process, statistical decision theory, Markov process, queuing theory, simulation methods, and reliability theory comes under this stochastic process. Coming to the statistical regression analysis, cluster analysis, pattern recognition, experiments, factor analysis comes under the statistical method. Of a function of several variables under a prescribed set of constraints. So we are going to discuss about these methods of optimizations. So then other methods now people used to say modern optimization methods, non-traditional optimization methods because of some evolutions theory. Artificial intelligence, knowledge-based system, algorithm, simulated annealing, logic, search, particle swarm optimizations, and anti-colony. So, So with this, just we had an introduction about the methods of optimizations and the formulations, as well as the types of the methods of the optimization. So let us consider the unconstrained optimization problem. So where finding the x which minimizes f of x. So generally we have the these are the constraints. We are not considering these constraints in the problem statement or a problem optimization. Then we can say it is an unconstrained optimization problems. But with boundary conditions, we can call it as unconstrained optimization. So because the range of decision variables, we need to consider certain range. So otherwise, it is unrestricted searching of the solution for the problems. Methods of these optimizations, how to proceed. Is a concept called a sequence of finding the solutions and reaching the approximate or optimal solutions one by one. So in that case, first to find the value of the object function at a particular decision variables, later conclude the optimal or near optimum solutions. So that is the basic concept of sequential wise finding the solutions of the problems. So you may have a particular value of the variables, or you say the point. At that particular point, you find out the objective function. Then we need to compare with some other objective function value at some other point, and trying to go and reach the optimal or near optimum solution in the domain. So that's called the basic concept is I try to process. So start from any one point, so where it is a feasible point of the problem. So here I have given a diagram related to the constrained optimization problems in general, where we can consider the x1 is the starting point or initial point as seed. So point in the solution region, region of the problem. So in a particular direction, so we need to get the improvement in the objective function. The direction of finding of these directions, we have so many methods how to find the best direction. So in this best directions, you need to consider the length of the direction. So as a step size, so we may be denoted this as a lambda. So where we are going to concentrate more on single variable optimization. So in this category, so that is the application of the single variable optimization problems. In any optimization problems, decision problems. So if you see the role of single variable optimization, so this is the role. So this is the significance of a single variable optimization problem in the general constrained or unconstrained multivariable optimization problems. So okay, so once we are having x2 which is better than x1, so I can update the position of the point or position of the search process as a x2. So from the x2 I had to find out the best direction. So out of this best directions, I need to find out what is the best step. So the length of the direction. So again, I'm using the single variable objective functions as a lambda. So I want to find out this function of lambda as a single variable objective function. So then we are trying to apply the methods related to find out the this single variable objective functions. So this is the case. It is I try to process in the way of getting the optimum solution or near optimum solution of the general optimization problem. From one point to one iteration to the next iterations, we are going to consider the step size as a variable, as a design variables in this case, and I want to find out the optimal value of this step size, which is generally denoted as a lambda. So in the literature, so we are going to discuss the methods related to how to find out the optimal or best size of this lambda, so which is helpful for getting the solution for the general problem very quickly. So we need to find the optimum of lambda or optimum value of lambda. So now it becomes one variable called function of, so that we are going to consider as a problem statement, and we are going to have methods related to this. So as usual, so the single variable optimization methods, we are categorizing into two categories. One is elimination methods and the interpolation methods. So this elimination methods means the region of such a process we are eliminating by evaluating the functions at points, maybe 2 points or 3 points or more than that. So simultaneously or sequentially, and trying to get the better solution, updation of the existing solution, and moving further and trying to get optimal. In the case of the interpolations, where we can say that functions which is differentiable, even if there is no differentiable of the functions, is a quadratic kind of the roots directly. So or we can depend on the derivative of the function. Based on these derivatives, we can go for a different. So I'm going to focus more on elimination methods of single variable optimizations. Of course, I will take any one of the gradient based method for single variable optimization problems. So these are the things where we can get the problem statement. So by considering the minimization of f of x. So what do you mean this here? F of x is a objective function, variable. Here variable is x, so is a variable. So it may be any value, any kind of the x. So maybe the decimal values of this x is a real or integer or binary. So it is generally we can consider the real values. So optimization algorithm purpose. So the purpose of this optimization or method, find a solution x. It is usually denoted as a variable star, so x star. So for which the f of x is minimum, or we can say it is optimum. So what are the optimality criteria? So when you consider the optimality criteria in the literature, so we used to say local optimal, so within the vicinity of the point, so a point, so maybe searching the best in the surrounding of the point. So that is local optimal, and global point is considering the whole region, so certain large surroundings of the point, and trying to find out the globally we can say the point is optimal. So there are some inflection point, neither minimum nor maximum, so we can consider. So that is one of the criteria of optimality. So if you are getting situation of like that, so how to proceed further for optimum solutions. So these are the explanation about the local or relative function is said to have a local minimum at x is f of x star is less than or equal to f of x star plus h for all sufficiently small, maybe closer to the zero, is a positive h or a negative h. So if this is the case satisfying, then I can say it is a local minimum. So similarly, we can say the maximum is f of x star greater than or equal to f of x star plus h. H is a small significant value, so that I need to get some differences of f of x star and f of x star plus h. So this h is maybe a negative or positive small value. Consider this kind of the graphical representation of this local optimal point. So we can say This is the local optimality. So within the surrounding area, within the vicinity. So the vicinity area is depends upon the solver. So based on this, I can able to say it is a local within the surrounding areas, and this may be the maximum or local maximum. So within the surrounding. So if we consider the overall larger areas, then out of that maximum points, I can consider the global points. So the inflection point is see what is happens here. So at a particular point, x is equal to x star. So if the x star is increases or decreases, so the objective value increases locally. So this is the situation of inflection point. So here I can say neither optimum nor minimum. Then global optimal point. So is equal to x star if f of x is less than or equal to f of x for all x in the domain for which f of x is defined. So wherever it is defined, so considering the entire domain, entire region, and for the best possibility feasible solutions. So similarly, global maximum. So we can say that f of x star is greater than or equal to f of x for all x in the domain. This is the typical scenario in order to explain the graphical manner. So about the local maxima or local minima, as well as global maxima and global minima. If we consider this entire region, so if you are splitting into a small separable or small part, then we can think about the kind of the local minimum or optimums. So since only one minimum point in the range, so in this range, so then I can say. Then what are the conditions in order to say the solution is optimal or not? So if f of x is defined in the interval of a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b, then local minimum is x is equal to x star. So as x, that is first derivative of the function with respect to x. So it is a finite variable or finite value or number. Then we can say that the condition is necessary condition to say the function is optimal function point. So f dash x star should be equal to 0. So when it is equal to 0, so then I can say that x star is going to be optimal point of the function, so which is a necessary conditions. Sufficient conditions to say that the first derivative is 0, then first non-zero higher order derivative is denoted by n. So if n is odd, then x is equal to x star is a inflection point. If n is even, then x star is a local optimum. So generally, if you consider the second derivative, so derivative of the function with respect to variable x is equal to x star. So if you are getting a definite point number, so then I can say x star is an inflection point. So if second is a second is not odd, so usually it is even. So we can say that second derivative of the function so is a local optimum. So in that case, if a derivative is positive, second derivative, so at x is equal to x star, then x star is a local minimum. So if the second derivative of the function at x maximum. So this is the order of derivatives is even. If it is odd, then it is following the inflection. Coming to the unimodal functions. See, this is the one of the fundamental assumption of single variable optimization problem. So where it is considered as a unimodal function. and we are trying to apply the methods for solving the single variable optimization problems. If we consider the x in the x coordinating axis and f of x in the y coordinating axis, and if we are getting the shape of the function like this, then the x is having a lower bound and upper bound. So if we take any 2 points, and where these points are having some relation, so that is x1 is less than x2, means x1 is closer to the lower bound and x2 is more than x1 but closer to the upper bound. If that is the case, then evaluating the functions at these 2 points, by assuming that x star is the optimal point. So I'm comparing these 2 functions. So if it is f of x1 is less, then I can say that the optimal point is the lower bound and x1 region. So that means the other part of the region I need to delete. So that means we can able to delete x2 and b. I can say that optimality is in between a and x2. Because x2 and the b, the range of x2 and b is eliminated, deleted. So I can say that, conclude that x star is belongs to a comma x2. So okay, so because f of x2 is higher value. So this is explaining, so for the minimization of the objective function, so where it is the shape is a convex shape of the function. See, if f of x1 is greater than f of x2, so you delete the range of a and x1. Remaining is considered as a feasible range, updated range or interval of range for the further. So we have the third option, so where if both are equal, the evaluated functions at x1 and x2 are equal. So then we can say that the optimal is within the x1 and x2. We can eliminate the other portions with these portions. So if you have any doubts here, so we can ask, so that I can able to explain here itself. If you have any doubts or clarification regarding this. Participants, if you have any doubts or clarification, we can ask. We can stop me at any point and we can ask. Or at the end of the presentation, so if you are having some questions or doubts, I'm ready to clarify. So it is given to you. So option is given.
Sir, there is a question from Smita Nair. So she has asked, is relative minima and local minima the same thing?
Relative local minima, so that is based on your vicinity of the point. So vicinity of the point is, we may be considering the surrounding of the point, so with a small variation. So then relatively we can compare and say that this is the best relatively optimum. Both are same. So the relative and the local optima, it depends upon the vicinity of the point. I hope I answered this question. Okay, thank you. So let me continue this. A function is a non-differentiable even and discontinuous. So we can able to proceed the same evaluation process. X1 is less than x2 and evaluate the functions at 2 points and compare the results. The outcome of the results maybe reduces the range. So range is reduces. So here I can say this range is uncertainty. So we may say that the optimum value is lying in between certain range. This range is uncertainty as a optimality issue or optimality problem. So maybe I can say uncertainty range is nothing but the interval of the locations of optimal point. Here also same thing, so we can say that if x1 is less than x2 and where x2 is also less than x star, then we can say f of x2 and is less than f of x1. So that typing error. So if you consider the other way, so x2 is greater than x1 and where it is greater than x star, so it is implies that f of x1 less than f of x2. So where x is a minimum point. So if you want to say a model is a unimodal, so if it is satisfying these conditions at x is equal to x star, then we can say it is a unimodal functions. See, the applications of single variable optimization problems is based on the assumption that the function is a unimodal function. Unrestricted search is one of the elimination method. The name indicates we are going to eliminate the some portion or part of the range, the given range of the variables, so value of the variables. So here there is no restriction on the design variables. It is no boundaries in the definition of the problem, the design variables. So we can find out the best in the unrestricted bound. So actually this is not so it may be easy, but sometimes it may be leading to very high computational because we are not knowing about the boundary of the variables. If we have any kind of these situations, then we can use the unrestricted search procedure, so our method, elimination method. So what is the basic concept in this? The step size. The step size is fixed. So in that particular direction, so we can have a fixed size of the step from the current point to the next point. So then evaluate the function at these 2 points, or maybe a set of points, and finding the best, or reducing the range. Of course, here it is not mentioned the boundary condition, but initially we can find out the boundary. So by taking any 2 points, random points, or any 1 point, random point. With that, the second point I can get with the fixed step size or accelerated step size. Then I can get the second point, and at these 2 points you evaluate the functions and say that the comparisons outcomes. So as I mentioned just now, so we need to consider the point, starting point as the initial point as a guess, and then move in a favorable directions with the step size based on the desired accuracy. So I need to get the accuracy of the solution. So based on this, we can finalize about the size of the step, so which may be fixed. So under the fixed size unrestricted search method. In case of accelerated step size, so you can have the particular step size, and after set of iterations, then we can go for doubling the step size, or we can go for even exponentially the size of the step. And once if you are reaching a particular range, the interval uncertainty, then we can reduce, and again we can implement the set of these steps and try to get the optimum solution or near optimum solutions. When to terminate? So what are the stopping criteria for this all iterative process? Based on the desired accuracy, we can go for termination process. I want to say the from the current point to the next point. So if we say the comparisons of these 2 points, or comparisons of the evaluations of the function at these 2 points, then based on that I can say what is the accuracy involved in the solution. And second is exhaustive search, so we can call it as simultaneous search method. So that means, So you may be considering the range of uncertainty here. Boundary is given, so lower boundary and upper boundary. So within the boundary, so we can have a fixed number of points, so equally distance points in the range. Then we can find out the best point based on the evaluations. So find x of minimum f of x with the interval lower bound and upper bound is in the problem statement or model. So then what is the concept here? So we are trying to reduce the interval, given interval of the design variable by evaluating the function values at a number of equally spaced points in the interval. Suppose the lower boundary and upper boundary is given, so I can make as a 10 equal points in this range, and at every point we are evaluating the function simultaneously for all the other points, then trying to find out the best. So that's why the name indicates simultaneous search methods. So generally what is happens here, we are starting from the lower bound and compare the three consecutive function values at a time. Three consecutive function values. So maybe, so I can say that start from the lower bound, I can go for 3 points, and I can evaluate all these three function evaluating at all 3 points, and based on the outcome of the comparison, then process is terminated, because if it is reaches the desired accuracy, or continued with by replacing one of the 3 points with a new point, one of the new points. So let us consider. So this is the range of this, and it is divided into 8 equal parts, and at 8 equal parts starting point and finishing point. So at 8 equal parts we are evaluating the functions. The given objective function is evaluated at each and every point. So we are finding the best. Here the length of the uncertainty, so the initially it is x finish minus x start, so lower bound and upper bound. But so if we consider the after 8 experiments, when I'm saying experiment means evaluation of the function at these 8 points. So that's called the 8 experiments. Evaluation of the function at any point is a experiment. So just I am considering as a terminology. So length of the after the number of experiments, I may get a narrowed range or a reduced interval of the uncertainty. So in this case, exhaustive search methods after n number of experiments. It is 2 by n plus 1, so we are multiplied with the initial range L0. So then I can get what is the length of the uncertainty, so after n experiments. Then we are using the extension of the elimination method, so region elimination. So that means the portion of interval of uncertainty is eliminated. So it is used for improved of solution accuracy. If you want to get the previous methods, exhaustive search method, unrestricted search methods are very simple. So, but the starting point as well as the step size are not significant. You may end up with a large number of computations to get the optimum solution. So, that is not advisable. So that's why they want to go for some other methods where we can able to get quickly answer with accuracy. So here what is the basic concept is evaluating at 2 points at a time, then eliminate part of the range or uncertainty. So by comparing the evaluations of function at these 2 points. So let us consider this is the x1 and x2, so the 2 points, and from the lower bound and the upper bound. So where is same thing. So here also x1 is less than x2, then I can go for evaluation. So the reason which is eliminated, so is based on the comparisons. So if I'm saying the comparison is f of x1 is less f of x2, so that means x2 and b is eliminated. The range of x2 and b is eliminated, deleted. So if I'm taking the f of x1 is greater than f of x2, and I can say that the range of the region of A lower bound and x1 so is eliminated. So this is the length of the uncertainty is eliminated. So then the new uncertainty range is x1 and b. So the optimal point is in the new updated range x1 and b. So like this we are going. So if you are getting equal, so at these 2 points, so then we can eliminate the either side of this x1 and x2. So that means a x1 as well as x2b are eliminated. So instead of this region elimination methods, the computational is very high. So where I can go for some other concept, taking the middle concept, middle of the range, the middle of lower and upper. So this is the interval halving method. So here we are choosing 3 methods in interval and divide into 4 regions and eliminate the part of interval based on the results of evaluation. So a function or to 2 points. So here we may consider the location of the next evaluation or point is influenced by the result of present evaluation or present point. So this is the main concept in this interval half method. So here the xm is the mid of the A and B range, the given range. So based on this range, I can find out where the x1 position, x1 point and x2 point. So if f of x1 is less than f of x2, the minimum cannot lie beyond xm, and almost all I'm going to delete the xm and b. So it is reduces half of the uncertainty, the interval of uncertainty. So that's why. So the name indicates it is interval halving method. So where it is the uncertainty range is reduced by 50%. But this is the case. Suppose the case is f of x1 is greater than f of x2. F of x1 is greater than f of x2. So minimum cannot lie in A and x1. So and here the reduction of the interval is x1 and b. Reduce the interval of x1 and b. So what is the reduction rate? So the reduction rate is 25%. So here minimum cannot lie in the A and x1. So I can delete this A and x1. So in that case the point is lying in between x1 and b. So the reduction level in this case is only 25%. Whereas if the case is like this, it is 50% case. So what are the algorithm steps in order to go for programming in MATLAB software, or maybe you can write your own programming code using programming languages like C or C++. Now people are using Python programming language. So choose the lower bound A and upper bound B and the small value. So this is required for stopping criteria. So when to stop all these iterative process methods. So stopping criteria is based on the accuracy of the solution. So then xm we need to compute xm, m into middle. So a plus b by 2. So and the starting interval, the initial interval range LO, which is equal to L. So here it is b minus a. So we are calculating the f of xm. Then we are setting the x1 as the x1 is how to set the x1 from xm. So this is a plus L by 4. So L is the updated value. So here it is L naught b minus a. So x2 is the other way. Now we are comparing say f of x1 and f of xm. See here how many initially. So we are doing the evaluation at xm and evaluation at x1 and evaluation at x2. Then we are comparing this f of x1 and f of xm, and if it is f of x1 is less, then you update this b as xm as x1 and go to the step 5, else go to the next step. What is the next step? So if f of x2 is yes, f of x2 is less than f of xm, then you update a as a xm and xm as a x2 and go to step 5, or else a is equal to x1 and b is equal to. So what is happens here? So f of x1 is equal to f of xm. So in this case, you say that a updated value is as x1, b updated value is x2, and go to the next fifth step. Not step 5, so it is step 6. Calculate L is equal to B minus A. Okay. If modulus of this length of uncertainty, so the updated L value, so if it is less than the accuracy epsilon, then we can terminate, otherwise go to steps 2. So what is the step 2? So I updated the XM, so as well as A and B, then we can proceed further. Then dichotomous search method, it is similar to the interval halving method, but only thing is at the middle point we may be considering very small variations from the middle point and finalizing about the x1 and x2. So it is not like x1 is a plus L by 4 and x2 is b minus L by 4, so 1/4 of the length, but it is considering around the midpoint of the range, interval range, then we are evaluating the at the points. So this is the dichotomous search method. So at the middle of this initial range, so we can consider the x1 as midpoint plus delta by 2. Here in this case minus, and here it is the delta plus delta by 2. So at these 2 points I am going to evaluate the functions. So 2 evaluations are placed as close as possible at the center of the interval of range or uncertainty. So this is the concept. So we are evaluating these 2 points, the functions of at these 2 points, and comparing and going for the elimination of the uncertainty and repeating the process. The new interval of uncertainty is L0 by 2 plus delta by 2. So okay, so if it is eliminated x2 and the finish point, finish x, final x, so it is eliminated, then optimal point is in between x, s and x2. What is the reduction of interval of uncertainty? So at any stage, it is nearly a factor of 2. But in the previous case, it is sometimes it may be 25%, sometimes maybe 50%. I can say the dichotomous is better than interval of method. So generalization of this, every time we are evaluating the 2 functions, the final interval, if I am considering the first 2 evaluations, 2 points, the next 2 points, that means 4 number of experiments, next 2 points, 2 evaluations, number of experiments is 6. So this I can get as a interval after number of experiments. So length of the interval uncertainty is this is the equation. So from this I can say generally, so for n number of experiments, if you want to know what the length of the uncertainty after n number of experiments, so what the use of this, so in order to say how quickly I can able to get the answers, the optimality of the length of the interval of uncertainty after n even experiments. So generally I can say L0 by 2 to the power of n by 2 plus delta multiplied by 1 minus 1 by 2 to the power of n by 2. So this is the ratio of final to the initial interval of uncertainty. So this gives about how quickly I can get the optimum solution or near optimum solutions. So then the very good method or best method in the elimination methods category, so Fibonacci method. So Fibonacci method is based on the series of Fibonacci numbers. These are the series. We all know about this Fibonacci series. So where it is denoted as F0, F1, F2, F3 like that. Generally, you can write F0 and F1 are equal to 1 initially, so starting. Then thereafter, for any value of n, so Fn is equal to Fn minus 1 plus Fn minus 1. So if you want to find out the Fibonacci number for at any stage, we need to consider the previous sum of the previous two Fibonacci numbers. Okay. So here, with the concept of this, I want to find out the procedure of optimization method. Here we need to say how many experiments we are going to conduct. The prior information in the problem statement n. So the number of experiments. Based on this only, I can able to get the starting of the method. So first two experiments at x1 and x2. So this is x1 is equal to lower bound plus L2 star. So and x2 is equal to b minus L2 star. So where L2 is the length of uncertainty. So optimal length of the uncertainty. So based on the ratio of this. So Fn minus 2 by Fn multiplied by the L0, or we can say Fn minus 2 by Fn, which is also equal to multiplied by the L1. So because F0 and F1 is considered as 1. So thereafter, so if we length of uncertainty, so second thing or third thing, so we'll be calculating like this. Length of the interval of uncertainty, so is L2. So is nothing but L0. So the initial uncertainty length minus L2 star, or we can say L1 minus L2 star. Suppose location of the jth experiment, and after the jth experiment, I want to know what is the length of the uncertainty. So this is the general. So we can consider the nth experiment or a jth experiment. So obviously, so n is the the last experiment of the evaluation of the functions. So this is the Lj star. So f of n minus j by f of n minus j minus 2, and it is multiplied with the previous length of uncertainty. So similarly, I can say Lj is nothing but Fn minus j minus 1 by Fn multiplied by the L0, the initial uncertainty. So with the help of these two formulas, I can find out the location of the jth experiment as well as length of the uncertainty at the end of the jth experiment. So let me see the in terms of accuracy, the ratio of this length of the uncertainty. So if I am making for a general equation, general n, ln by L0 is equal to F1 by Fn. So or we can say 1 by Fn. So this is the ratio of uncertainty, length of the uncertainty. So ratio of final to the initial uncertainty. You see the tabular of information about the Fibonacci, where n is the number of experiments and the reduction ratio we can see. See, once if you are moving to the very high level of number of experiments, see if you see the ratio, it's almost all reaches the 0. So see the if it is n is equal to 17 or n is equal to 16, so you can say it's almost all the reduction ratio is almost all 0. So, okay. So these are the algorithm steps we can consider. If I'm saying this is the basics of Fibonacci steps, then based on this I can calculate what is the L0 b minus a. I can say k is equal to, so and assume, so we are going to conduct the number of experiments or evaluations n. Once the known value of n, then only we can able to proceed further. So you compute the length of the uncertainty Lk star, making use of this formula. So based on the Lk star, so see the Lk, this is the length of the uncertainty, and Lk star is the value of this. So similarly, the Lk star is the value of this. So I can say initial point x1 is a plus Lk star, and x2 is b minus Lk star. X1, so we can able to get a plus Lk star. So okay, so x2 is b minus Lk star. So accordingly, so we can compute one of f of x1 and f of x2, which was not evaluated earlier. So then we can compute the computational only one. So after the first initial two computationals, we are computing only one, then we are going further like that. So you update the interval of uncertainty by eliminating the region and setting the a and b value as the new values, then repeat the process. Provided k is equal to n, so that is the stopping criteria. So once if it is reached the last experiment or evaluation, so we need to stop. Otherwise, k is equal to k plus 1 and go to the second step. Otherwise, terminate the process. It's clear? So this is the exercise problem, so where we can consider. So almost all reaches 130. So let me explain the other methods if time permits with your organizing committee. Then and coming to the golden section method, we all know that there is a ratio of a rectangular shape. If the building is constructed according to this ratio, so the people staying in that particular building are having a pleasant life, good life. So we used to even ancient people are also following the same thing. So ancient Greek architect, so he has given this ratio. So the ratio of d plus b and d, which is equal to the d by b, so which is equal to a constant value, so gamma. So this is the golden section ratio, or a golden section of a line. So a line is divided into two parts, where this is the larger part, this is the smaller part. D is the larger and b is the smaller of a given L. So in that case, d plus b is nothing but L. L by d is equal to d by b. So longer length by middle length is equal to middle length by small length is equal to a constant called golden section or ratio, golden ratio. So it is origin is traced to the Euclid's geometry. Using these relations, I can able to say whenever it is reaches the very high value of Fibonacci number, so the ratio of uncertainty is almost all same. Even the derivation of this golden section is from the Fibonacci concept. So this is the Fibonacci number is nothing but the sum of the previous succeeding Fibonacci numbers. So now if you do this simplification process, finally I can get the ratio as a golden ratio. So this is the equation. So finally I can simplify this as a gamma square minus gamma minus 1 is equal to 0, and it is a now quadratic equation. So you find out the roots of gamma. So one value is 0.618, which is a valid value. So in that case, what about the gamma square? So 0.382. This this ratio gamma is called golden ratio or golden section. So with help of this golden section or golden ratio, we are going to find out the length of reducing length of the uncertainty. So by conducting the experiments, see the ratio of these Fibonacci numbers reached almost a very high value. So that is if it is n is equal to 10 itself, it is almost 0.6184. But if it is reached very large value, so it remains 0.618. So first we need to do the two experiments at x1 and x2. So x1 is equal to a plus L2 star, or we can say a plus gamma square L naught. So x2 is b minus L2 star or b minus gamma square L naught. Okay. So with help of this, I can get the 2 points, and evaluating the 2 points, further we are going for the section of the uncertainties. Okay. So the length of the interval of uncertainty is L2, so L naught minus L2 star. So the disadvantage of the Fibonacci, so where we need to have the prior information of n, so as well as the number of computationals also high compared to number of computations of method. So these are the algorithms where we can consider. It's similar to the algorithms of Fibonacci series method, Fibonacci numbers method. So only the difference is the starting computational work. So choose the lower bound A and upper bound B and the termination value based on the desired accuracy. So just we are whatever the range of the given problem statement, so we are normalizing this variable using this equation x minus a by b minus a. So then based on this normalization of w of the variable with w, so then aw is 0 and bw is 1. So it is normalized between 0 and 1. So then lw is considered as b minus a, so that is 1. I'm setting k is equal to 1. So like this I can proceed. W1 is nothing but aw plus 0.618 lw. Similarly W2 is bw minus 0.618 lw. Now you compute the f of W1 and f of W2. So depending on which the 2 was not evaluated earlier. So that is, once we need to evaluate initially these 2 experiments, initially first 2 experiments, thereafter we may be evaluating only 1 experiment. Update the interval by eliminating the region and set new values of AW and BW. If length of W, so that means it is less than the accuracy, so we can terminate the process. Otherwise we need to update the k is equal to k plus 1 and go to steps 2 and repeat the process. Okay. Then coming to the golden section method, coming to the second category of the method under the single variable optimization. So then one method under this category, so Newton's method, or we can call it as Newton-Raphson method. The basic concept is based on the Taylor series. We are considering only the 2 derivatives of the Taylor series, the approximate values. So here find lambda in minimization of f of lambda, and the necessary condition is the first derivative is equal to 0 to get the lambda star. Okay, so find the solution of f dash lambda is equal to 0 using the root method, or we can call it as the direct root method as a Newton's method. Okay, so we can use the cubic interpolation methods as well as the quadratic methods, where it is not depending on the derivatives. So let me explain the basic concept. The quadratic approximation of the function f of lambda at lambda is equal to lambda I using the Taylor series expansion. So this is the Taylor series expansion only at the second level, second derivative level, up to second derivative level. So after this, once if it is expanded like this, then I need to go for a derivation of the of lambda, so as a necessary conditions, and f of f dash lambda is equal to 0. So from this I can find out what is the lambda. So lambda is equal to lambda I minus first derivative by second derivative at lambda is equal to lambda I. Then I can get a lambda value. So for optimality of this lambda or approximation of this lambda I for the next iteration, it is lambda I plus 1 is equal to lambda I minus f dash first derivative of function at lambda is equal to lambda I by second derivative of the function at lambda is equal to lambda I. So with this I can get the next iteration of the lambda. So approximating to the minimum of the f of lambda, then I can get the next iteration of the lambda. So further we can keep on iterating this. And what is the stopping criteria? So here we need to have the convergence criteria as modulus of the first derivative of the function at lambda is equal to lambda I plus 1 is less than or equal to the desired accuracy, small value of epsilon, then we can stop the iteration process. Otherwise we can repeat the process. Okay. So here the first derivative and the second derivative of the function at f lambda is equal to lambda I is required. And the convergence will depend on the initial guess point, so starting point, as well as the nature of the function. This happens very fast convergence, fastest convergence, provided the function is a quadratic. So if we take the second derivative of the function which is not equal to 0, so we will be getting the very fastest convergence. So okay, so I will stop at this level, theoretical aspects of all these methods. So if you have any doubts, I am ready to clarify.
Sir, his question is how to identify the particular method for optimization.
So generally, if it is a function is a differentiable, so then we can go for a Newton-Raphson method, which is very efficient and very quickly we can able to get the convergence of the uncertainty range. So most of the multivariable optimization problems where we may be finding the step size in the desired direction, such direction of the multivariable optimization methods, where it is going to happen in the next session by my colleague. So the application is we cannot apply the single variable optimization directly for any kind of the problems. All the existing design problems or any decision making problems more than one variable. So the suitability of the methods is if the function is not differentiable, then we can make use of the elimination search methods.
Thank you, sir.
So there is one question in the chat box. Can you mention some algorithms used for single variable without constraints? See, with the constraints means here only we can say boundary conditions of the variables. Boundary conditions of the variables, or if you say any condition as a constraint, like suppose particular value of the variable is restricted to a particular value range, so the permissible range. So in that case, we can make use of the single variable optimization methods. Santhya Murugesan. So question, I think I answered this question. So again, I'm saying, this single variable optimization method is applicable in all other optimization methods. So in the iteration process, search directions where we can use in a multivariable, like one of the steepest descent method. So where we may be finding the optimal step size in a particular direction of the search. So there we may be converting the problem as a single variable, so like f of lambda. Then we may be going for application of the single variable optimization problems. Methodology where we get in details. So it references engineering optimization by S.S. Rao. This particular textbook is explained very much about single variable optimization and as well as multivariable optimization under non-linear programming topic chapters. So we can refer engineering optimization theory and practice by S.S. Rao, Singareni, Singaresi, S. Rao, S.S. Rao.
This is Venkateswar Rao.
Yes, sir.
You are comparing with algorithm-based optimization technique and Excel-based optimization technique. So, which one may give some reliable results, sir?
I am not getting proper voice. Comparisons of comparisons.
Algorithm-based optimization techniques, like what we are using through MATLAB and all those things, and Excel-based, sir. We are using some Minitab and other optimization techniques and Excel-based, formal-based. Without any code.
Without any code. So no. So you see, even in the case of optimal step size, so we may be using some methods. So there are tools available, but tools are not like specifically for this dichotomous search method or Fibonacci. It's not like that. In the general tools are available in MATLAB.
Sir.
General tools. So there is no. So if you want to write a programming code in MATLAB or some other programming language, so you have to write your own.
One more question, that is where we get algorithm websites.
Algorithms website. There are no available sites for exclusively this kind of the methods. So there is no kind of the websites to where we can get these algorithms. Programming code, I think, so the question is programming code of these algorithms in the website. So some people are posting the algorithms code for public purpose. So there we can get, we can download those things and we can execute for your problems.